All right, let's dive deep today, folks. We're going to help you absolutely nail that disability support worker interview. Like, not just answer the questions, but really impress them and get that job.
Totally. We're going way beyond the basics, using these fantastic resources from RoleCatcher. We're talking real interview questions, insider tips, and even some AI magic to help you really shine.
AI magic.
Hmm.
Okay, now you've got me intrigued. But hold on, let's back up a sec. What does a disability support worker actually do? It's more than just a job, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like imagine being that crucial support that helps someone live their best life possible. It's about guiding them through their day-to-day routines, advocating for what they need, and working with healthcare folks to make sure they're doing well overall.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But RoleCatcher's career guide mentions a lot of different tasks, like bathing, dressing, feeding. It seems pretty diverse.
For sure, it is. And that's where those key skills like active listening and customer service really come in. Think about it. Working with someone who might have trouble communicating, active listening becomes so important. You got to understand their needs and make them feel heard, really heard.
So it's not just like checking things off a list. It's about forming a connection. I get it. Now, I know you got a bunch of real interview questions from RoleCatcher. Want to jump into those?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Remember, we're not just looking for answers here. We're trying to craft those responses that make you stand out from the crowd.
Okay, hit me with the first one.
All right, here's one that often throws people off. How do you handle challenging behaviors from clients? It can seem intimidating, but it's a golden opportunity to show how you stay cool under pressure and take action in tough situations.
Oh, yeah, that one would definitely make me nervous. I'd probably just blurt out, I'd call for help.
Mhm.
But I'm guessing there's a better way to answer that, right?
Definitely. Think bigger picture here. Interviewers want to see you think on your feet and solve problems. So instead of jumping to calling for help, talk about understanding the client's behavior. Like, I know challenging behaviors can come from unmet needs or communication difficulties. My first priority is everyone's safety. And then I try to de-escalate things by staying calm and using clear, simple language. Really trying to understand what the client is trying to communicate.
Ah, I see. So it's about showing you can assess the situation and respond thoughtfully, not just like panic. That's a great tip. What kind of follow-up questions might come after that?
Good question. They might dig deeper into your experience. Like, can you give an example of a time you successfully de-escalated a challenging situation? Or, what strategies do you use to communicate with clients who struggle to express themselves? They might even throw a curveball. Like, what if the behavior is directed at you? How would you handle that?
Wow, okay. So it's not just a general answer, it's being ready for specifics and different scenarios. That's where those real-life examples from RoleCatcher's example profiles would be super useful, right?
Exactly. Those profiles are a gold mine. You see how experienced folks have handled similar stuff and then adapt their approaches to your own experiences. Oh, and don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you tailor your answers to specific job descriptions.
Wait, really? Tell me more about that.
It's seriously cool. Imagine a job description wants experience with clients with autism. RoleCatcher's AI can look at your resume and be like, hey, highlight that volunteer work you did, or even those personal connections, anything relevant. It helps you create an answer that hits exactly what the employer's looking for.
That's amazing. It's like having a personal assistant helping you put your best foot forward. Okay, I'm ready for the next question. What else you got?
All right, here's one that's pretty common but tricky. How do you prioritize your workload when you've got multiple clients with diverse needs? It's all about showcasing how organized you are and how well you manage your time.
Ugh, that one, just thinking about it makes my head spin. Like, where do you even begin when everyone needs something different?
Take a deep breath. It's about breaking it down. Each client is unique, right? And they've got their specific care plan outlining what they need. So you could say something like, first, I carefully go through each client's care plan and really understand their individual needs and preferences. Then I prioritize based on urgency, like medication schedules or doctor appointments always come first. And to say on top of it all, I use a system to track tasks and deadlines. That way, nothing gets missed.
Okay, that makes it seem way less chaotic. It's not just chaos, it's about having those systems so everyone gets the care they need. Good storytelling help here too.
You got it. Imagine the job description's all about time management. Boom, share a story about a crazy busy day when you juggled multiple client appointments, but still made sure everyone got quality care, right?
I see the pattern. It's not just textbook answers. It's bringing your experience to life with stories that show your skills in action. What if they throw a curveball? Like, what if two clients need something urgent at the same time? Who gets priority?
Perfect example. That tests your critical thinking. In that situation, you got to show you can assess, communicate, and maybe even delegate. You could say, if two clients have urgent needs at the same time, I'd immediately talk to my supervisor or team to figure out the best way to handle it. We'd figure out which need is most critical, maybe delegate tasks, or get extra support to make sure both clients get the care they need right away.
Makes total sense. Shows you're a team player, you're not afraid to ask for help, and you're committed to the best outcomes for everyone.
Exactly.
Okay, bring on the next question. I'm feeling like I can handle anything.
All right, let's see. How about what motivates you to be a disability support worker? Seems simple, but it's easy to fall into those cliches.
Oh, yeah. I'd probably blurt out something cheesy like, I love helping people. But I bet that won't cut it, huh?
It's a great feeling, but you need more depth. This is where your story comes in. What's your journey? What experiences or moments sparked your passion for this work?
Well, there was that time I volunteered at a summer camp for kids with disabilities. It was tough sometimes, but seeing their joy when they achieved something new, that was so rewarding. Could I talk about that?
Absolutely, a perfect example. You're not just stating a motivation, you're weaving in an anecdote that shows your empathy, your patience, your genuine desire to make a difference.
Okay, I like that. Connecting my experiences and values to the job itself.
Bingo. And you know what else can give you some inspiration? RoleCatcher's Career Stages section. It outlines different levels of responsibility in the field, so you can imagine your own career path and what you're aiming for.
That's great to know. I'm seeing how all these resources can work together. All right, what other tricky questions do you have?
Okay, let's look at how do you ensure the people you support can participate in activities they enjoy? This shows you get person-centered care, that you're going beyond the basics to enrich their lives.
That's interesting. It's not just keeping them safe and healthy. It's about them finding joy and fulfillment, right?
Exactly. And everyone's different, so there's no one-size-fits-all approach. You got to be observant, understand their interests, and get creative to make those activities accessible.
So would it be enough to say, I'd ask them what they like and try to make it happen?
It's a start, but let's add some depth. Remember functions and core abilities in the career guide. Active listening is key. You're not just asking. You're engaging, uncovering their passions, maybe even finding hidden interests they haven't been able to explore.
Oh, I get it. Like a detective figuring out what makes them tick. Maybe they love to paint but haven't had the chance lately, or they're fascinated by birds and would love to go bird watching.
Exactly. And then you use your problem-solving skills. They love gardening but use a wheelchair. Boom. Raised garden bed. Transportation an issue. Research accessible options or even virtual activities related to their interests.
Wow. Being resourceful and thinking outside the box for solutions that really meet their individual needs and desires. I bet a good story could make this answer come alive, huh?
Absolutely. Share a story about helping someone connect with an activity they love. Maybe you helped someone with limited mobility join an adapted dance class, or someone with communication challenges join a book club. Those real-life examples show your dedication and creativity.
I love it. Turning experiences into proof of what you can do. Okay, hit me with another challenge.
Let's focus on how do you ensure the people you support can maintain their independence. This goes deep into a core principle, empowering individuals to do as much as they can, even if it's baby steps.
I get it, but sometimes it's just easier to do things for them, especially if they're struggling. How do you balance support with encouraging independence?
It's a fine line, and that's what the interviewer wants to hear you talk about. You could say, I'm all about promoting independence by focusing on what they can do, not what they can't. I start by carefully figuring out their abilities and breaking down tasks into smaller, easier steps. I guide and support every step of the way, but I also encourage them to take the lead whenever possible, celebrating their successes and helping them build confidence.
Like being a cheerleader, helping them reach their goals, however small they might seem. And wouldn't a specific example from your experience really bring that home?
You got it. Let's say the job description highlights promoting client autonomy. Share a story about helping a client learn a new skill, like making breakfast or getting dressed independently. Talk about the steps, the challenges they overcame, and the positive impact on their self-reliance.
These tips are awesome. It's not just about right answers. It's about showing you're a skilled and caring caregiver. Okay, hit me. What's next?
All right, let's tackle building relationships, which is super crucial in this field. The question is, how do you maintain a positive relationship with the families of the people you support? Families are a big part of the support system, so showing you can communicate and build trust is important.
I see how that could be tricky, especially if there are different opinions or approaches to care. How do you handle those potentially awkward situations?
It's all about respect, open communication, and remembering you're all on the same team, working towards the well-being of the individual. You could say, open and honest communication is key for me to build strong relationships with families. I regularly update them on their loved one's progress, actively listen to their concerns, and answer any questions they have promptly and respectfully.
So being proactive, transparent, and recognizing their role in the caregiving process. But what if a family member disagrees with the care plan? I wouldn't want to overstep or go against professional recommendations.
That's a great point. And it's a chance to show your professionalism in how you solve problems. You could say, if a family member has concerns about the care plan, first, I'd listen carefully to understand their perspective and acknowledge their feelings. Then, I'd explain the reasons behind the care plan, emphasizing the expert advice it's based on. If there are still unresolved issues, I'd talk to my supervisor or team to find solutions that address everyone's needs and priorities.
That approach shows you're a team player, you respect everyone's input, and you're committed to finding the best for the client. And wouldn't a concrete example really drive that home?
For sure. Imagine a family member disagrees with a certain therapy in the care plan. You could share a story about a time you successfully handled a similar situation. You listened to the family, explained the therapy's benefits, and worked with the care team to find a compromise that worked for everyone.
I'm starting to get it. A good interview isn't just answering questions, it's about telling a story that shows your skills, your experience, and your passion.
You got it. And you know what can help you craft that story and make it even better?
I'm guessing you're going to say RoleCatcher's AI.
You know it. Remember Copilot. It can analyze your answers, suggest improvements, and even give feedback on your tone and delivery, like having a virtual interview coach helping you sound confident and polished.
This is fantastic. I'm feeling so much more prepared. Okay, what other gems do we have in this treasure trove of interview questions?
Let's tackle one that checks your commitment to professional development. How do you stay up to date with the latest in disability support? It's all about showing you're a lifelong learner, always on top of best practices.
Okay, so I can't just say, I read articles online.
Staying informed is important, but let's show a more proactive approach. Think about the knowledge and learning section in the career guide. It mentions attending workshops, conferences, and webinars related to disability services.
Right. It also suggests joining professional organizations and online communities, to network with other professionals and stay updated on research and trends.
Exactly. But instead of just listing them, weave it into a story that shows your passion for growth. Like, I stay on top of disability support practices by actively seeking out professional development. I regularly attend conferences, like mention a relevant one where I learn from experts and connect with other professionals. I'm also an active member of Mention a Professional organization and participate in their online forums to share knowledge and stay current on the latest research.
Wow, that sounds way more impressive. It's not just passively taking in information, it's actively seeking it out and being part of a community.
Exactly. And remember, specifics are key. Instead of just saying you read online, mention a specific journal or website that you find valuable. It shows you're discerning and truly invested in your professional growth.
Okay, one last question before we move on. I'm feeling pretty good, but there's this one question that always gets me nervous. How do you recommend answering? How do you handle challenging behaviors from clients? It's so common, and I always worry about saying the wrong thing.
It's a common worry. It's meant to see how you handle pressure, think critically, and act appropriately in tough spots. Remember, those behaviors are often a way to communicate. Your job is to understand the message behind the behavior and respond in a way that calms things down and keeps everyone safe.
Right, that makes sense. But what if I freeze up and just say, I'd call for help? It might be the right thing sometimes, but it doesn't exactly show off my skills, does it?
You're right. You want to show more than just willingness to get help. Remember the work environment section in the guide. It mentions this field can involve challenging conditions.
Right. Dealing with tough behaviors, providing care in stressful situations, and staying emotionally resilient in the face of adversity.
Exactly. Use that to frame your answer. You could say something like, I understand that challenging behaviors are often a form of communication, especially when someone is having trouble expressing their needs. My top priority is ensuring everyone's safety, including my own. Then, I'd try to de-escalate by staying calm, using clear language, and actively listening to understand what the client's trying to say.
So it's about being compassionate and proactive, not just reacting. Having a specific example of successfully de-escalating a situation would really solidify that answer, right?
Absolutely. Storytelling is key. Describe a situation with a challenging behavior, the steps you took to de-escalate, and emphasize the positive outcome.
I'm seeing a pattern here. It's not just knowing the answers, it's crafting a narrative that shows your skills, experience, and genuine passion.
You got it. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can be your secret weapon in crafting that narrative. It can analyze your answers, give feedback on your tone, and help you polish your responses for a truly impactful interview experience.
This has been incredible so far. I feel so much more confident and prepared, but you're just getting started, right? There's so much more to explore.
You're absolutely right. We've only scratched the surface of this rewarding career path. Welcome back. We're diving right back into those interview questions that can make or break your chances of landing that disability support worker position.
I'm all ears, ready to take some notes. What's the next question on our list?
Okay, let's explore this one. What are some strategies you use to communicate effectively with clients who have difficulty expressing themselves? This one really gets to the heart of communication and disability support.
I can see how that's super crucial, especially working with people who have communication challenges. But it seems tricky to answer. Where do you even start?
You're right. It's not just about saying, I speak clearly. It's about showing you understand the little things about communication and how you adapt to each client's needs. Remember those functions and core abilities from the RoleCatcher guide. Think active listening and reading comprehension.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing the connection. Active listening is not just hearing the words, it's paying attention to their body language, their emotions, all of it. And reading comprehension is about getting the deeper meaning behind their words and knowing when there's more to their message than what they're directly saying.
Exactly. So in your answer, you go beyond just talking and listening. You could say, when I work with clients who have difficulty expressing themselves, I use different ways to make sure they're heard and their needs are met. I watch their nonverbal cues, use visuals or gestures to help them communicate. I'm patient, give them time, and make sure they know their feelings are valid, even if it's hard for them to communicate.
Okay, that paints a much clearer picture than just, I'm a good listener. What kind of follow-up questions might come after that?
They might ask for specific examples of strategies you've used, like, tell me about a time you communicated with a client who has nonverbal autism, or how do you ensure a client with aphasia feels heard and understood?
Those are pretty specific scenarios. I can see how those would really test your knowledge. And I bet this is where those real-life examples from RoleCatcher's example profiles come in handy again, right?
Absolutely. Those profiles are a goldmine, showing how experienced people have handled similar communication challenges. They can help you come up with ideas and tailor your answers to show you understand different communication needs. And speaking of tailoring answers,
Oh, I bet you're going to mention RoleCatcher's AI again.
you know it. Remember how RoleCatcher's AI can analyze job descriptions to help you create targeted responses? Well, let's say a job really wants experience with augmentative and alternative communication, AAC devices. The AI can scan your resume and be like, hey, highlight this experience, even if you didn't specifically say it.
That's so cool. Like having a personal assistant who knows what employers want and helps you showcase your skills. Okay, I'm ready for the next question. Hit me.
All right, this one's all about safety, super important. The question is, how do you ensure the safety and well-being of your clients, both at home and out in the community? It's your chance to show you understand the risks and how you take a proactive approach to keep your clients safe.
Yeah, safety is huge for me,
Yeah.
especially considering the diverse needs and vulnerabilities. But it's such a big topic, it's hard to know where to even begin.
Don't worry, just break it down. Think about the different environments, like their homes, the community, transportation. Then consider the potential dangers in each.
Okay, so at home, it could be things like falls, medication safety, proper food handling. Out in the community, it might be pedestrian safety, being aware of traffic or strangers, and making sure places are accessible. And during transportation, it'd be securing wheelchairs properly, making sure the vehicle's safe and reliable.
Exactly. You're showing you understand the big picture of safety. Now, let's put that into a solid interview answer. You could say, my client's safety and well-being are my top priorities, both at home and in the community. I do a thorough check of their living spaces to find potential hazards and put strategies in place to minimize risks. I'm also super careful when we're out and about, making sure they're aware of their surroundings and advocating for their safety in risky situations.
Sounds good. But they probably want more than just general statements about safety, right? What kind of follow-up questions should I expect?
They might ask about specific safety procedures, like how do you handle medications, or what steps do you take to prevent falls at home? They could even throw a curveball, like what if a client wanders off in a crowded place?
So it's not just knowing the rules, it's about applying them in real-life situations, showing you can think quickly and solve problems. I'm noticing that a good interview is really about showing your skills in action, not just talking about them.
You got it. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you practice your answers and make sure you're communicating effectively and leaving a good impression.
This is great. I'm feeling so much more prepared. What other interview gems do we have left?
All right, let's tackle one that often throws people off. How do you approach supporting a client's emotional well-being? This one digs deeper than the physical stuff, into the emotional complexities that people with disabilities might be dealing with.
That's such an important point. It's not just about their physical needs. It's about understanding they might be dealing with all sorts of emotions like frustration, anxiety, loneliness, maybe even depression. How do you address that in a way that's sensitive and helpful?
It's a delicate balance, and it takes a genuine understanding of their experiences. Remember those core skills we talked about? Active listening, social perceptiveness, service orientation, those come into play here.
Okay, yeah, I see how they fit in. Active listening is about creating that safe space for them to share without judgment. Social perceptiveness is about picking up on their nonverbal cues, noticing changes in their mood, and responding with empathy. And service orientation is that genuine care for their well-being, going the extra mile to make them feel valued and supported.
Exactly. So when you answer this question, show them you get how important emotional support is and that you have the skills and empathy to provide it. You could say, for me, emotional well-being is just as important as physical well-being. I try to create a supportive environment where my clients feel comfortable sharing their feelings. I use active listening to really hear them, validate their emotions, and offer encouragement. I also work with them to come up with coping strategies and connect them to resources that can help.
That's a really well-rounded answer. It shows you understand the many sides of emotional well-being and that you have the tools to help clients deal with their emotions. But I'm guessing the interviewer might want to see how those tools work in real life. What kind of follow-up questions should I be ready for?
They might ask you to describe a time you helped a client deal with a tough emotion, like anxiety or grief. Or they might give you a scenario like, what if a client becomes withdrawn and refuses to do their usual activities?
Okay, so it's not just about talking about your skills. It's about showing how you've used them in real situations. Those real-life examples from the example profiles would be so helpful here, wouldn't they?
You got it. Those profiles offer so many examples of how experienced people have dealt with similar emotional challenges. You can use their approaches as inspiration and create stories that highlight your empathy and your ability to connect with clients on a deeper level.
This is all great stuff. I'm starting to feel like I can handle just about any question they throw at me. But before we move on, can we go back to RoleCatcher's AI? I'm fascinated by how it can help me tailor my answers to specific jobs. Can you explain that a bit more?
Sure. RoleCatcher's AI is like a secret weapon in your job search. Here's the deal. Imagine you're going for a job that wants experience with clients who have dementia. You upload your resume, and the AI goes to work looking for keywords and phrases that match the job description.
So it's not just finding exact matches, it's about picking up on relevant skills and experiences that I might not have explicitly stated.
Exactly. It's like having someone who knows exactly what employers are looking for and helps you present your qualifications in the best possible light. And it doesn't stop there. The AI can look at your interview answers, give you feedback on how you sound, and even suggest improvements to help you communicate better.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like having a virtual coach right there with you. I'm starting to see how RoleCatcher can really change the game for anyone trying to land a job.
It's true. RoleCatcher helps you put your best foot forward and make a lasting impression.
This has been amazing so far. I'm feeling so much more confident and prepared, but we're not done yet, right?
You're right. We've only just begun to explore this awesome career path.
Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into prepping for that disability support worker interview. I'm feeling so much more prepared after tackling all those tough questions.
That's awesome. We've got more great questions to cover, plus some tips to really showcase your strengths and impress those potential employers.
I'm all ears. What's next?
Let's tackle one that often makes people nervous. Tell me about a time you faced a challenge at work and how you dealt with it. It's a classic question to see how you solve problems, stay calm under pressure, and handle yourself professionally.
Yeah, that one always gets me. It's tough to pick a story and know how much detail to give. Any pointers?
Absolutely. Remember the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result. It's a great way to structure your answer and make sure you hit all the key points.
Right. First, describe the situation, the context of the challenge. Then, outline the task, what you had to do, and your goal. Next, Explain the actions you took, highlighting your problem-solving and decision-making. And finally, describe the result, the positive outcome, and what you learned.
You got it. Now let's say the interviewer asks, tell me about a time you had to deal with a conflict between two clients.
Okay, I'm thinking back to when I volunteered at a group home for adults with intellectual disabilities. There was this situation where two clients, let's say Sarah and John, had a disagreement over an activity. Sarah wanted to watch a TV show, while John wanted to listen to music. They both got upset and started arguing.
Great start. You set the scene. What was your task?
My task was to calm things down, help them communicate their needs, and find a solution that worked for both of them.
Excellent. Now, what did you do? What actions did you take?
First, I gave Sarah and John some space to cool off, separating them for a bit. Then I talked to each one individually, really listening to their side and acknowledging their feelings. I tried to help them see it as a problem to solve together, not a competition. We brainstormed ideas, like taking turns with the activity or finding a compromise that combined their interests.
You're showing great problem-solving skills and empathy. What was the result?
We ended up finding a solution that everyone liked. They agreed to watch the show for 30 minutes, then listen to music for 30 minutes. They even picked a music playlist together, which turned into a fun activity.
Fantastic example. You nailed the STAR method, telling a story that shows you can handle conflict, communicate well, and find creative solutions.
That feels so much easier now. I'm seeing how powerful stories can be.
They really bring your skills to life and help you stick in the interviewer's mind.
Okay, bring on the next challenge.
All right, let's explore. How do you advocate for the rights and needs of your clients? This shows them you understand disability rights, your commitment to social justice, and your willingness to speak up for the people you support.
Advocacy is so important, but it can feel intimidating, especially when you're new to the field. How do you tackle this question?
Think about different types of advocacy. There's individual advocacy, where you're helping a client with their specific needs, like getting resources or navigating a tough situation. And then there's systemic advocacy, where you're trying to change policies or systems that create barriers for people with disabilities.
Okay, so I could talk about a time I helped a client access a service or advocate for their needs within their family or community, or maybe my involvement in bigger advocacy efforts, like supporting legislation or volunteering for an organization that fights discrimination.
Exactly. Show them a variety of experiences that prove your dedication to social justice and that you understand the different ways advocacy works.
I'm seeing how all this comes together. It's not just answering questions. It's about painting a picture of myself as a skilled, compassionate, and dedicated disability support worker.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you polish that picture and present it in the best light possible. It can look at your answers, give feedback on how you sound, and even offer suggestions tailored to the organization you're interviewing with.
That's incredible. It's like having a personal branding guru guiding you through the process. I think we're ready to wrap things up. Any final thoughts?
Remember, an interview is a conversation, not a test. Be yourself, be genuine, and let your passion for this work shine through. And don't forget about all those amazing resources RoleCatcher offers, from the AI resume builder to the huge library of interview questions and career guides. They've got everything you need to ace that interview and start a rewarding career as a disability support worker.
This has been awesome. I feel so much more confident and ready to go. Thanks for all the expert advice and for guiding us through this deep dive.
My pleasure. You've got this. We're rooting for you all the way.